Well, we really did it this time, but at the very least, we got a really good story out of it, albeit slightly embarrassing, but it's a good story. We're going into our third year on the farm, and this is the third year that we've raised a beef steer. We're trying to use our land to grow as much of our own food as possible, be it vegetables or our own meat, eggs, whatever that might be. And we like eating beef. Who doesn't like steak, right? This is our third year doing it. We got 2 steers this time, and these guys have kicked our butt so far. We purchased these steers from a local farm. These are the biggest that we've done yet. Before, they were basically just weaned calves. These are nearly 1,000 pounds, or they were when we bought them. And so they are not lacking much before they're ready to go to the processor. We kept them in this barn for a week, waiting for them to kind of warm up to us before we turned them loose out in the pasture and let them graze for, a few months before we put them back in the barn to start the finishing process. We put them out on a Friday morning. They were out of the barn for maybe 30 minutes to an hour before they jumped the fence. During that whole mess and all the chaos and hectic events that were happening, we did our best to capture it. This is how it all went down.
Every time we get cows, we regret getting cows for the first 3 weeks to a month. I'm regretting that now because I'm chasing one of them across the field. Not my field, other people's fields. This is great, real great. That is our cow. This is not our property. If it sounds like I can't breathe, it's because I can't. That thing right there is my cow. Those red cows are not my cows. He knows he's in trouble. So we had one cow that had stayed in the field. Oh, I have another buddy. You're not my original buddy, are you? Oh yeah, I have a buddy. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. Her number, or his number is 2219. I'm going to take this one home with me, and they can have my white one. I'm angry. Yeah. So I'm on one of my neighbor's properties, walking around with his cow, just trying to keep eyes on my cow. Reagan's home with the other cow, which we've named Big Ears because he has bigger ears. Oh goodness, stop that. And he just jumped the fence on Reagan. So yeah, fun day. Fun day. Reagan had to come home from work to deal with all this. Meet 2219. You say hi? Come here. Say hi. Say hi. This is a good cow. Once again, that is my cow. These cows are not my cows. Not my cows. There's my buddy.
Well, it's been a morning. We've had these cows, steers, for 1 week. We left them in the barn because the last one we had, if you remember, he jumped the fence the next day. So we kept these in the barn for a full week. Let them get used to us, get used to the feed bucket. Turned them loose this morning. And they jumped the fence, or at least one of them did. And spent some time with the neighbor cows. So he's over there hanging out. And as I got home from work, the other one was so spooky, I was just trying to get it back in the barn, and he took off barreling through the field, jumped the fence, and it's currently 12 o'clock, and he's completely missing. So we've put out the search on Facebook, put out the search alert on Facebook, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. We are we're good at this. All right, it's next morning. Still laid eyes on the one steer that hopped in with the neighbor's cows. Didn't see the other one. I was hoping to kind of see him patrolling up and down the fence line, but even if he was there, I couldn't see him because it's so thick and woolly all along that fence row. So from my vantage point, I wasn't going to be able to get a look at him. There's a kind of a half a mile area that I'm hoping he can be in. He's out of the way of traffic. He's out of the way of well, really, it's just a good spot to kind of hole up. There's a lot of open pasture. There's a big creek bed that runs through there. I think it'd be a nice, easy travel path. Talked to a guy locally who's a Roper. He's the guy, you know, he's tied up today with a team roping event, so he's going to come over tomorrow and help wrangle this guy up, or both of them really, if we can get a beat on him. So hoping that's going to get this resolved. But yeah, we still laid eyes on the one, and just waiting to, maybe the other one will turn up. I tell you what, in this business, some days are certainly better than others.
What you got? Just breaking your rope. Gotcha.
We still got the other one hanging out there too, so we gotta, you know, keep talking to all the neighbors. Livestock's fun. Farming, homesteading, whatever you want to call it. All this stuff looks great until the moment something goes wrong, and yep. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Now the second beef steer, when he jumped, he took off running, and he didn't slow down. The first one jumped in with the neighbor's cattle. The second one didn't. He kept running. And I just had in my mind that he was going to be in an area, maybe like a half-mile radius of area where there was a bunch of grass and there's a creek bed. There's other cattle farms kind of spaced along. He was going to find somewhere to hunker down and just eat, lay down, be happy, and he'd find other cattle and we'd find him there. I was not correct in that assumption. On Sunday afternoon, we finally get word from somebody on Facebook that they saw our steer over 2 miles away in the middle of a little county road, and he looked terrified, and well, no kidding, he jumped the fence and he just bolted, and that was the last we heard of him until that afternoon, and we hear again that hey, he's running around, he's been terrorizing the other cattle in the neighborhood, and we think he's in with this bunch of cattle. Wonderful. So I call the guy who owns those cattle, and he says he hasn't seen him. He doesn't know why he's still running days later if he's not being spooked and pushed and whatever, makes cattle want to go. But he'll go check. But he's got good fences on his place, he tells me. So he's not sure how he would have got in or why he would still be wanting to run around and cause chaos. On Tuesday, about midday, this is going on 5 days now since these cattle jumped the fence, right? All day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and we're going into Tuesday. Megan finally hears from somebody on Facebook saying, hey, this cow is in with our cattle, and he walked into a feed barn. We just shut him up. Are you kidding me? He walked into the feed barn. So I talked to the lady for a little bit on the phone and find out where she's at and how this barn is set up, but I call the cowboys in again, and I let Shad pick him up and bring him back to the farm. Well, the wandering stranger is on a trailer headed back to the farm. What an ordeal. What are we doing? Going to see the cow? Can you see him? Little ears and big ears. Welcome home.
Hi.
Now, after all this, days of running, days since he jumped the fence and just took off and he was gone, I figured up he ran, checking his waypoints along the way, right? That he was well over 4 miles and was probably pushing 5 since he didn't travel in the little straight lines that I was drawing on a map. I don't know how in the world or why in the world he wanted to run 5 miles, but at long last, both of these guys are back in the barn. What a relief. Now consider these lessons learned in this endeavor. One, it's worked so far, but I'm just not sure that our fences are going to work doing this moving forward. Now, we want to improve them. We're working on improving them because they don't even hold our little goats in, but these goats are trained. It's done fine for cattle to this point, but we've got a lot of work to do on these. I also met more of my neighbors that, again, this is going on year 3 that we've lived in this house, and I haven't met all these folks, so that was a really nice touch, being able to finally put names to faces and faces to property people who own sheep and cattle around us, so that was nice. Since we don't have any fences that are going to keep these guys in, I called the processor back. I got their date bumped up to 3 months out, so they're going to spend the rest of their days in the stall right over there until it's time to go on a trailer and move on to their final destination, till they move into the freezer. We try to be nice and give them pasture to eat on while they're here, but you know what? They were already big enough to start finishing out, and that's what we're going to start doing. If you've got a crazy cattle story, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments, because I think this is a pretty good one, but I know it's not unique to us. And names. Now, I had decided that we were going to name these cattle the Moose Brothers, Jake and Elwood. After the events from this past weekend, we're settling on Richard. One steer has big ears, one has smaller ears, so they're Little Richard and Big Richard. But they're the Richards, and they're tricky, all right. Thank you all so much for watching our channel. We really appreciate having you guys around. We got a lot going on. It's been a hectic week here on the farm, and it never really seems to slow down, but that's part of why we like it. We've had some ups, we've had some downs. We just appreciate having you guys around, sharing our lives with you here in this manner. So thank you guys so much, and if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and say hi down in the comments. Glad to have you here. My name's Reagan. This is the GWP Homestead. See you soon.